A very good morning, everyone. Welcome to the live trading room at Admiral Markets today on Thursday, the 7th of November. We're going to take a look at the Forex market and charts, of course, in just a minute. But first, the risk disclaimer explaining that trading for exchange is considered high risk, just like any global financial markets, and may not be suitable for all investors. Please seek the advice of an independent financial advisor for more information on that. And this webinar is for educational purposes only. Alrighty. So with that said, and thank you for your attention on that, we're going to take a look at intraday trading today. Later on today we have, as you know, a webinar on educational topic at 5 or 6 p.m. or whatever time zone you have to take a look. And we're going to take a look at the Confluence, Trading Confluence, all right, together with Tarantula. Today we're going to take a look at intraday trading, so we'll be primarily looking at establishing trends, looking for filters and triggers, using various methods of trend lines, fibs, an oscillator, and moving averages. All right, we're going to take a look at the Forex calendar because we do have some news events coming up like the euro and pound interest rate today and tomorrow NFP. But before we do that, I'm going to welcome Michal. Good morning.
Good morning, Chris. Thank you very much for such a lovely introduction. I will now switch everything to my screen. There we go. You can see my lovely mug right over here. My name is Michael Olafov, and I'm a client relationship manager for Admiral Markets. In essence, my job is to create the best possible trading environment for you. Today we were supposed to have an episode of Fun with Forex again, but since yesterday we had a slight mishap to the video, I'm going to do the bit that I wanted to do yesterday. And I wanted to do it very much because this project I would like to talk about is very, very important to Admiral Markets and to me personally. Today I wanted to speak to you about the project called Trading Camp, a project which is created to boost the trader's motivation towards learning. Now, all of you came to this webinar for one reason in particular. You would like to get better in Forex trading. However, not a single webinar is going to single-handedly change your perspective and your trading abilities. What must happen is you must put continuous efforts into understanding and studying Forex. And sometimes a lot of people, they get discouraged, they think it's a bit too hard, they don't know where to start, and they don't know how to structure the learning process in a very wonderful fashion. Now, this is why we created a project called Trading Camp that I would like to talk about right now. This project is created for one reason, to give you a structured opportunity to learn Forex in 3 weeks. Now, it has always been my understanding that a person who wants to become a successful trader should approach Forex not only from an analytical or technical perspective, but should also pay attention to a psychic and motivational side of trading. In one of my previous webinars, I have spoken about success. And it is proven that your success in trading and in life, it depends not only on your intellectual capabilities, but much rather on your ability to motivate yourself to do the right thing day after day, year after year. In essence, I think that motivation is even more important than skill. And of course, achieving such motivation is a lot easier said than done. In recent times, there have been a number of books and trainings out there that can claim to help you achieve your long-term goals by a lot of different methods. Sometimes you come to the webinar, they promise you they will change your life, help you to achieve your goals, and all you end up doing is you end up closing your eyes and repeating, I'm a successful trader for 25 minutes or something like this. Well, none of it will ever help you. Picturing yourself sitting on a suitcase full of cash somewhere in the Caribbean sitting around is not going to help you become successful. But I'll tell you about the things that will. What I will teach you today is a technique that is extremely useful and is proven to help people stay focused and motivated towards their long-term goals. And I'm very confident you'll be able to use it not only to become a successful trader, but it will also help you in all aspects of life. So if idea sounds good, I'll start. I'm going to base my presentation on the work of Professor Richard Wiseman. I think his name alone suggests that he's quite a wise man, so there's no reason not to listen to him at all. So he spoke about a number of motivational techniques that people use in order to gain confidence and stay on the right track for a long period of time. Now, here's a list of the most popular techniques people use. So make a perfect plan. You can motivate yourself by focusing on someone you admire. You can be anybody from Richard Branson to, say, Jose Mourinho. You can tell other people about your goals. You can think about bad things that will happen if you fail. You can try to suppress negative thoughts, rely on your willpower, and record your progress. Now, out of those techniques, only 3 are scientifically proven to work. And we have incorporated those 3 techniques into the trading camp. Now, think about it. Which 3 techniques would you use? And let's compare the results. There we go. Only those techniques are scientifically proven to work. Make a perfect plan, tell other people about your goals, and record your progress. Those are 3 most important techniques that we decided to bring together in one continuous educational program called Trading Camp. Now, let's speak about all those details and techniques in particular. The first one is make a perfect plan. Now, this one was easy for us to accomplish. All we had to do is we had to come up with a plan where we receive small assignments every day. Now, you're not going to learn the entire Forex in a week. What we will do, we'll break down the most important thing, the base things, into a 3-week course. One day you'll receive a strategy that you can learn. The second day, you might be given an indicator to master. Third day will be another strategy. And this way we go building up your knowledge base. By the time 3 weeks are done, you're not a professional yet, you're not 100% ready yet, but you have a base that you can independently build on. This gives you a base understanding of the most important things. And the best thing about it, the strategies and the plan were put together by a professional trader. So we've asked professional traders to share their secrets with us. We asked, what are the things that, Forex rookies can learn that will dramatically change their attitude towards Forex? Are there any secrets to share? A lot of people contributed to our project, and this way we have a fantastic 3-week plan for you. Second one is tell other people about your goals. Now, sometimes people get discouraged about sharing their ideas or sharing their dreams with other people because, well, if you don't accomplish them, you look a little bit foolish. But it is very helpful to you and to your cause if you do. Therefore, we decided to give you a chance to share your ideas with other people all the time. First of all, in the Forex camp, you'll get personal coaching. You'll get a personal Forex mentor who will overlook your activities and he will encourage you to do your best. Second of all, you'll get a chance to chat with professional traders and you'll get a chance to chat with other people who are just like you. Yesterday, we had a great Skype conference for all of our campers with Tarantula. I'm pretty sure that if you frequent our webinars, you know who is not Guest Tarantula, one of the most popular Forex bloggers in the world. So yesterday, we had a fantastic Skype conference with him where everybody who was involved in the trading camp were able to ask him questions in real time. And they were able to chat among themselves as well. I think it was very helpful and a lot of people were very, very impressed. This is how we incorporated this technique into the project. And the third one is record your progress. Those of you who went to, say, a gym, you see bodybuilders there all the time. Now, they don't become bodybuilders over a weekend. It's a very, very long and hard journey to take. So what those people do, they have little notebooks where they record their progress. And they can track themselves getting better and stronger week after week. And this is a great help to them because maybe you don't look like you're doing okay, but you actually are. You're moving to the right direction. And this is what's important. So I'm going to show you how we decided to incorporate this technique into the project. Now, here is a tracker, Admiral Markets trading tracker that we created. Here is one of our traders who was attending the trading camp, and he was putting everything down into this tracker. So week 1, week 2, week 3, here we have the number of lots, the instrument, and the strategy. You see he learned 3 strategies in the first week. And then we have the result, and we have the chart. So look at this. He can track his profit. And then, what is most important, he can track how different strategies are performing for him. Because strategies are different, and people are different too. So if one strategy doesn't work for you, maybe the others will. This tracker gives you an opportunity to see which strategy is the best for you. Now let's look at the example, for instance. Here he made huge losses. Now maybe he wouldn't realize why it happened, but it's very easy for us to help him. We see that he started trading with one lot on an instrument that he's never traded before, with a new strategy, and this is why he was so unsuccessful, because he decided to go somewhere he was never before with a huge amount of lots. So next time he halved the amount of lots he was trading, he went to the instrument he knew, and look at this, started making profits. Now this is how trading camp helps you, and this is how you can motivate from being there in the trading camp. So in order to get to the trading camp, all you have to do is you have to send an email to camp@admiralmarkets.com. I'm one of the head counselors at the camp, so I'll be very happy to see emails from you people. And what you will get a 3-week learning course with 1 week trading course, everyday assignments, just like I said, strategy for professional traders, performance tracking, personal coaching, and free literature is going to be supplied as well. In order to get enrolled in the trading camp, which starts on the 18th of November, by the way, 18th of November is our next enrollment date. You have to write an essay on your Forex aim, about 100 to 200 words, and open a real account with a minimum deposit. It says $10 here. It can be as low as $10, but it can be around $200 in some other regions. So it basically depends on your region. But you will only require your real account in your 4th week of trading when you're ready to face the real market. First 3 weeks will be demo trading only. So send those details to me at camp@admiralmarkets.com, and we'll have a nice friendly chat about you being registered in the trading camp. Thank you very much for listening to me. I will now pass the floor back to Chris. If you have any questions to ask, you can always do so on my email or find me on LinkedIn. Thank you very much, guys. Have a nice webinar.
Great stuff, Michal. Thank you so much for that information on the trading camp. Very exciting to see this initiative and these things developing. Awesome stuff. So today we have the euro and pound interest rate, in fact, and that's later in the afternoon, as always, around just after lunch, and within 45 minutes of each other. We have USD GDP, Euro ECB press conference, USD initial jobless claims, and then ECB President Draghi speaking. Tomorrow we have NFP and unemployment rate on the US, and also Fed Chairman Ben Bernanke speaking. So there is a lot of stuff going on, and while we'll have some influence, of course, there will be a bit more volatility and quietness, and a mix of that than usual, probably. I don't think that necessarily interest rates will change, but still, despite the fact that they will not change, there will be probably that pattern, and we can expect that. Let's take a look at what the charts are telling us from a technical perspective, though. Let's see, Euro dollar 15-minute. Let's zoom out a bit to the 1-hour chart. Alrighty. So yesterday we were saying that there'd probably be a bullish day, and indeed it got a bounce from the 134.90 level up to 135.47. We were saying 135.50-ish, just a few pips shy of 135.50 would be resistance. So that happened indeed, and we got some downside during the night, in fact, or late New York. So the up-down indeed materializing as planned. What do we have now? We have a band that's pointed to the upside, which could still act as support. And of course, we have the potential of a breakout trade if we were to push through that support. So there is that potential to maybe drop here. If that breakout trade is really going to materialize before the interest rate, I have my doubts. But let's see. Some upside is possible too, maybe up to this trend line again, maybe up to to the moving averages as well. We can put maybe a fib like this, and we can see that we stopped here at the minus 2.7. So minus 618 could be the next resistance, which is at 135.68. Let's put a fib back on the very first move up, the very first correction. And we were just shy of this minus 618. So yeah, that 68 or still 55, 56, I would say that's still a resistance zone if we were to go up there. I would really only become bullish if we really break through the purple line, then make a bull flag, and obviously then the dynamics are changing and we can expect more upside. Until then, there's no reason to be bullish at the moment. Yesterday was a bit different, although I didn't trade it, as you know, but I did expect that bullishness. Now, since we've had this correction already, really, the likelihood of a break at some point in time is definitely there. If it were not for the interest rate decision, then well, basically, I would expect a break. I would be looking for that break. But the interest rate, it's making the breakout trades very, very tricky, because the psychology of the breakouts are not going to, it's not going to support it. What we could see is a push through and then up again. And then just go in a range. It's a very high likelihood. Because there's no follow through, there's no momentum push, no one's going to put in the volume and put in the orders, and the market's not going to get that follow through and breakout, even though it's pushing through technical lines like this, because everyone's waiting for that interest rate. That's the problem. If it were not the interest rate day, it would be a very nice technical breakout trade right here. Pound dollar. Pound, a bit different than the euro. Obviously, has shown a lot more bullishness. And we got one more upside here. Then we've just been chopping around for a couple of, well, maybe a day almost. Couldn't break this top here and started to correct. In this case, though, we are actually looking at a potential to break out to the upside, not to the downside, because if you look at this, this is already showing that uptrend, higher highs, higher lows. The band is now acting as support. So if we do break above the trend line, that would be potential to break out to the upside. What would be the target? If we put a fib on this downside, we can see that the 786 fib will be the next resistance. All right, so that would be the target of the breakout to the upside. That's at 161.81. You can see that we stopped nicely at the 61.8 right in here. And if we break out, that would be the target, because that could be the resistance. So that's about, if we break above this top, so that's about 60, 70 pips. Downside, I would really only be interested if we make a down move here, bounce, then break. Okay. Otherwise, really, no reason to be bearish, I think, at the moment. Especially the pound also has interest rate decisions, and it could fall. I'm not saying, but I wouldn't want to wager that today, especially with the pound interest rate, and especially if you consider that it's above support with this up move. Pretty bullish day candles as well. So Wouldn't make sense in my opinion. Um, what else? That's about it, I guess. Let's take a look at Euro Pound. Euro Pound has been moving down a lot because of the fact that, of course, the euro is falling a lot. Pound was moving up, so this fell as a brick relatively for the Euro Pound. The band is flat, and if you look at the 4-hour chart, we're pretty close to the support. So I would be a bit leery, a bit careful with downside. Maybe still, it could make still one more downside to the 886, for example. But obviously, we're getting very close to support. This is the 15. Looks like we're breaking out right now. I don't like the Euro Pound that much, but especially on a day like this. But otherwise, it probably would be a breakout as we speak, in fact. So anyhow, I'm not going to trade it, but it could fall to the 886 and then bounce. Let me take one look at this and put a fib from here to here. If the pound were to correct lower, by the way, I think we should definitely keep an eye on 160.39, 160.40. That could be a bouncing spot. All right, so that would be the level, and that downside and bounce makes sense because then we could probably move this trend line like this, and we'd have an upward slope. And I wouldn't be surprised if we bounce here and then break. But we could break like this already, so I'm not too sure about this downside. That's why. But if we do move down, then the bounce would be good, and if we do break, then the breakout would be good. If we bounce and get stuck within these two trend lines like that, then to be honest, a break either side is good. Something like that. Okay. What I insert, this is something I learned actually yesterday. After the description, or after the in the description, you type space percentage dollar, and then you'll get the values next to the fibs. So that's what I expect on the pound dollar. So I'll move on for those of you who hopefully you saw that. Let's take a look at maybe something that's not connected to euro and pound, like the Aussie. The Aussie fell a lot, in fact, and well, that had everything to do with the unemployment rate or unemployment change, really very negative. Had a big effect. So we did get this actually this downside break that I was looking for on Tuesday. We finally got that. Didn't expect it anymore because, as I said, it just took too long. I thought it needed to break here, and this was looking more bullish to me, to be honest with this. This was like a impulse, and this looked like a bull flag, right? And I would have expected a bounce here, but you know, that's a news announcement like that could definitely have this effect. So we can adjust this trend line a bit like that. Now this was a new spike, so this could just be retracement from our upside. So I would be careful. I would probably say, okay, let's keep an eye on these two trend lines. If it breaks below here, then it's probably a continuation downside. If it breaks above here, it's probably a continuation upside. Let's take a look at the 4-hour chart. you can see here everything is flat. So indecision on the 4-hour world, basically. And the 1-hour world is, yeah, it's also quite a lot of indecision. I mean, we did have the break, but I would be very careful in this triangle. Otherwise, yeah, it could. Nah. Let's take a look at the Kiwi. Maybe that's a bit better. The Kiwi, look at this. This is funny. It went down, corrected, back to the 50 fib, and where did it go? Right to the minus 618. Fascinating, isn't it? It's always a good idea if you see a correction to put a fib and wait for this target. It's a very, 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 very good way of trying to catch a bounce back into the direction of the trend. Perfect bounce. Let's see. We're actually breaking out on a lower time frame here to the upside. Let's see. Maybe if we get a hook back, it could make sense on the Kiwi. Right? Move back to the band, for example, on this 5-minute world 15. If you put a fib on the first up move here, or this last up move, sorry, then we've bounced up to 50 in fact. So there could be some upside momentum up to here. So any dips could be good buys. Let's take a look at the 15 again. Maybe I'll put a pending order at 87, 83.75. If it does dip just a few pips, if the stop loss is below here. I'll make it 76. I'll probably go to 77. 83.77. Alrighty, that's 14 pips. I won't put a tick profit yet. I think I'll just trail stop this. I'll trail stop it with using the 15-minute fractal. Alrighty, so that's the idea. Once again, trail stop, because I think this could go, well, maybe if anything, a trail stop or a take profit at 80 at the 272's target, which is 84.40. Let me take a look at that. 84.40. Which is 20. 363. Okay. But with the trail stop on the 15, because if it doesn't reach that take profit, I'm not going to hang in there forever, and I'll just move along the stop loss. With every new 15-minute fractal, I'll move the stop loss to 5 pips under there. With every new fractal, I'll move the stop loss 5 pips underneath that new level. Alrighty. Dollar Swissy is really, it's just, yeah, it's a triangle at the moment doing nothing. And not surprised because that monthly high is very close, so I don't think the dollar Swissy is that interesting at the moment. Dollar CAD, yeah, that breakout didn't happen as we were saying like yesterday. It just really failed to continue much higher, and lack of momentum and power on the dollar CAD to move to the upside. And you could see that we indeed got that reversal here. Just not getting that follow through as yet. Now the 4-hour is still bullish though at the moment. But not on the lower time frames. We're not seeing that. Looks like a triangle like this at the moment. So especially be interested in the upside break. In fact, the downside break could be limited in its potential to fall to, for example, the 50 fib or the 618. I mean, there's not much space there. Otherwise, we will see a high likelihood of finding some support at these levels. Dollar yen. That's something that we've been looking at for a while. And let's see, we were actually trading it from 83.30. I thought, yeah, a stop loss is 83.15 on Tuesday, and that's still actually doing well. It's still hanging in there despite this choppiness, and currently moving up again. So let's see if we get to that target. It would be nice because that would be a 7-to-1 trade. But there's a scaling, in fact, if the dollar yen were to break above these tops. It's possible. That would be a breakout trade. Quite corrective so far. This zone here is very choppy, but if it breaks, hopefully finally get some continuations. It had a few attempts here. Never really got the break, unfortunately, but maybe today. Target would be all the way at 99.40 here, which is the top of this wedge, the daily wedge here. So we're looking at this space. So let me see, an entry maybe just above that top here, 98, above 98.75, with maybe a stop loss below this. Could work well. I'll try that. I think that's a good idea. Looks like a good breakout trade. If we don't get any breaks soon, though, I might delete the orders. We'll talk about it at the end of the session. Alrighty. So those are the numbers that I'm looking to do. Oh. Alrighty. Pound yen moving up. Well, actually went sideways here after it moved up. maybe it will break out and continue to the upside. Possible. I mean, this is more and more, this is looking just like a big correction, in fact, after this upside. So the breakout trade could be very lucrative here, but the dollar yen would have to move up as well. The euro yen is in a way it's similar. It had a big downfall, yes, but you know, then again, it also bounced right after minus 618 target. Plus, if you look at the daily chart, this is still an uptrend. Oh, this is still an uptrend, right? Look at that. So, as we were saying yesterday, if it bounces here, this could be just a very deep correction like these have been for more upside, right? So if we then go back to the 4-hour chart, and 1-hour chart, maybe 4-hour chart, yeah, you can see that this upside was corrected right down to the minus 618, and we're bouncing off that. So it could be bullish. And we're already using the band as support, in fact. So probably the next break above this level would give the confirmation of that turnaround. Yeah, well, I was thinking about indeed 98.77 and stop at just below here at 98.53 underneath this 1-hour fractal. The shallow trend lines are quite tricky to trade. If the trend line is a bit steeper, it's in my opinion, in my experience, easier. Not too steep. I mean, I'm not talking about a trend line like this, but preferably something like this, right? But if they're like this, then it's a bit more difficult to trade because you get a bit more volatility before it breaks often enough. But another way of tackling it would be to wait for the break and see if it's a sustainable break by looking at a 1-hour chart. So maybe that could be better in this case. I'm a bit hesitant, in fact. Let me draw this line again. Yeah, the question is, will we get a sustainable breakout? I don't. You see, that one of the reasons I also have some doubts is just I don't trust today any breakout trades necessarily today. So I have a bit of suspicion that there might not be follow through. I don't know. Second thoughts, I maybe will delete it. The New Zealand is a bit different because it will be, we already had the breakout and we will be waiting for a small pushback. We can do the same for the dollar yen, in fact. I'll take it off for the moment. We can keep an eye on it though. And in fact, let's take a look at the New Zealand. In fact, I'll move the entry on the New Zealand a bit lower. I'll put it at the 61.8 for the moment. $83.74. Alrighty. So euro yen, yeah, it's at a talking spot. I wouldn't be surprised if we get continuation here after this bounce, but let's see, odd yen, funky. It was trying to break out here, but got also hammered with the news announcement. I would be careful at the moment. Quite choppy correction, or movement at least. Let me say it this way. Euro odd made of also, of course, this odd. All these odds have the same look. All these odds had basically weakness, right? Euro odd 2, Euro odd spiked up. Right back to the long-term moving average, which definitely could be resistance. We'll have to see, because that was a pretty volatile spike. It's difficult because we did bounce off this bottom, which could lead to this bigger retracement. But before we make that upside, we can make a small downside here. You know, it's too much of a mix for me on the time frames. Too close to support and resistance. Let's take a look at maybe indeed the pound New Zealand. Let's take a look at, or Euro New Zealand. Let's take a pound New Zealand first. The pound New Zealand went right also to the minus 618 target. I don't know if anyone was paying attention to it, but unfortunately I didn't have any pending order there. But just so you can see how nice these is, take the first 1 hour correction right from here to here. 50 bounce, where did it go? Right to minus 618. Now, it doesn't always stop exactly to the point, especially if you look at currencies like pound yen or even euro yen. They tend to sometimes push to those targets in some cases. Even they respect those levels, but you'll have more punch through. You have a higher probability of a punch through those levels on those currency pairs. But you can see how nice that and how accurately that can work. You really don't have to go far above the minus 618. I would say in most cases 20 pips is enough, but so anyhow, that was yesterday, but just wanted to share with you with that. That is a very useful technique. In any case, we have this trend line now. Looks like the pound New Zealand wants to continue and break to the downside. Oh, definitely downtrend. Good sturdy correction here. And this could be continuation. Yeah, daily chart is quite interesting. We had that strong upside, but this is just quite a range it was. However, there is some downward slope recently, right? So despite this ups and downs, it's looking like we have 2 lower highs, right? So maybe bearishness. Then again, difficult to say because it's just such a big zone. I mean, you're talking about from May all the way to now. That is quite a substantial area. But to me, this looks like a breakout, hook back, and continue, at least to maybe this level here at 190. Right, 190, of course, psychological number as well. We can put it at 190 exactly. Plus maybe, I don't know, who knows, maybe this. Probably not, but who knows. That could be a good breakout trade here. That's the 50-minute world. Yeah. Nothing to add, I guess, besides that. Let's take a look at the Euro New Zealand. It's probably something similar. I think also here, let's see, first, no, here we didn't. Here we went to the -272, but in any case, the movement is similar. Also correction up higher. But just like the euro odd, it is quite close to this bottom. So we've had a lot of ups and downs on this currency, but you can see very strong downside. And I wouldn't be surprised if this is a correction, and this is the continuation. But we don't know for sure unless we break this bottom first of all, and it doesn't make sense to go to look for shorts that close to a bottom, especially a daily bottom like that, or a weekly bottom even. That would be quite a big risk, because there is always the chance that we'll bounce up here for some correction before we might break down. So that's a bit risky here with this euro New Zealand. The pound New Zealand has more space. Pound odd had the same effect like the euro odd, right? It was just chopping around here. Oh, chopping around here. Didn't get the follow through to fall. And yeah, if it takes that long and it doesn't move down, you got to be careful. If anyone took to sell, that's already a warning sign that there's no downside momentum. But anyhow, it was definitely fundy related, this upside, as we got a big spike up. Right at the top now. Don't see anything really that interesting here. Maybe we could see some downside, but it too has the pound in it. So XAU USD, let's take a look. We were talking about it yesterday. I forgot it. No, yeah, or Tuesday. I don't know, one of the two. But anything happened? Not really. Probably waiting for tomorrow. Gold likes to move on Monday's New York Open and Friday's New York Open. Take a look, or at least that's what I noticed when I was back testing it and paper testing it. I haven't checked recent data, but pretty interesting how a lot of movements are Monday, Friday at New York Open. Very interesting. Or prior to the NFP. Also very interesting. Gold has sometimes moves before the NFP announcement is released, about half an hour before that. Quite funny. But, well, Wednesday it didn't move, that's for sure. It just went sideways. Yeah, still, well, I now remember. We were saying that this upside doesn't have much space. Now I remember that it's limited to anywhere in here, I think we said. And indeed, it got rejected. I think we were looking at it when it was moving up somewhere in here yesterday, and said this is still bearish. This doesn't have space to go up. Remember? And indeed, we got that rejection wick here. It didn't go down either, but it didn't go up for sure. It just went sideways, right? So that was that zone we were talking about. Yeah. Okay. This is the dollar index. Got a bounce off 79. Is this a bounce to fall? Good question. We'll find out today and tomorrow. This is looking like a upside and bull flag, but these bull flags are not 100%. They can turn into downside as well. So we'll have to see which side it breaks out to the upside or to the downside. It does look like a bull flag. But of course, we know that bull flags are not perfect. Not always do we get, it's not 100% guarantee that we will get continuation breakouts, but let's see, anything I missed? I think we went through the usual ones. Anything you want to see that I didn't mention, maybe? Some more exotic currency pair, I don't know, maybe AUD-CAD or whatever you have in mind. Anything you would like to take a look? Let me know. Oh. Otherwise, I'll take a look at the euro dollar again. We can take a look at the Camarilla indicator, but I think this is one of those moments where it's going to be waiting for that news events. I don't know. I don't see much. I don't have much hope of really getting some momentum in the market today, right now. Yeah, there's nothing we can do about that. The 50-minute world, though, if you look at the moving averages, although very choppy, right? But yesterday, remember here, we did get the upside, and it did move up, although very choppy. Eventually reached the 135.50. Got correction up, but if you look at it that way, it's actually still above support, right? So there could be some reason to maybe continue that correction higher. I wouldn't want to trade it, but just looking at the chart, and price is still above these moving averages, right? So if it were to break below these, then usually speaking, that would be a breakout, I would say. How about the dollar yen one more time? It's close, but we've had these spikes to this level before, and we couldn't push through it, right? We've had spikes to the 98.74 and just couldn't break through that. If you're still in that trade from 98.30, it could be even wise to click it out here, take the profit, and put a re-enter order at 98.78, just a few pips above. then in that case you just took the profit here, and you can re-enter a few pips higher if it were to break out. If it doesn't, and it retraces lower, well then you just managed to book the profit already. Yeah, pound CAD, we can take a look at that. Well, let me quickly just take a look at the New Zealand. If I want to check if I still want to be, do I want to be in that trade, or let me take a look. I mean, it looks like a good breakout to me. I don't know. Let's take a look at the 1 hour chart. I say I don't know because it too will have some, the interest rate will have some influence on it, but I guess the Kiwi could be more quiet in its trading as well. Let me say it this way. 30-minute has a pretty big wick. We're getting some bounce here. Doesn't have to be the only bounce though. We can move up and then still move down. Well, if not, then we missed it. But that's okay. If it does move down, then it would probably bounce off these targets. We've got 15 minutes left before this 1 hour candle's finished. So it'll be interesting to see how this one closes. But I don't know. Probably, I think I'll even delete it. I think I'll just keep an eye on it with the own eyes, because I want to see how price really moves and responds. I mean, I wouldn't mind entry orders, but maybe on a day like today, I'm not really that jumping for joy to maybe place an entry order. And I'd rather see how price moves and just decide when it does get lower if it's worth taking. If it looks very impulsive, I'd rather wait a bit, see if we get a bit of a turn, at least like a pause of about 2 candles, right? Something like this, for example. down, down, down. And then if we get something like this, then we have a pause. We have a group of candles not breaking this low, and then it would be more confirmation that that downside is, that smaller downside at least on this chart is finished. So I'll take that off. Pound CAD. Yeah, Pound CAD had a very big spike up, and it was similar to a retracement like this, in fact. Right, you can see the retracements to these long-term moving averages all got bounces. This one too. Not sure how much space there is to continue, but here, or look at this, the daily chart, we can see the band acting as support. I think we have to go all the way to the weekly to see how much space there is, because we can see, funny enough, this was just a massive downside, and Pound CAD has been going sideways in this range for 3 years and recently broke out. So went to the minus 272 target. The next one, if it does break up higher, go higher, is the minus 618. So yeah, you can see just range, the breakout right to the minus 272, and now maybe potential to go to the minus 618. Daily had a pretty big pin bar though. I don't think that's a very important pin bar price action signal, because it's right at the middle of the move. Only 2 candles prior to that, so. But in any case, it does indicate a pause, but I don't think it's necessarily a reversal signal. Yeah, there's divergence indeed. Yeah, there's divergence between these tops. Although, if you look at the daily on the oscillator, then this is all one move, in fact. This belongs to each other. So officially on the oscillator, it's bad divergence, not proper divergence. Only probably upon the break of the next stop, it would be proper divergence. So to be very precise. The reason is because this didn't go back to the zero line. So let's see. If it does push through the stop, then we know what the target is in that case. Right? Then it's clear we're going to the minus 618. Anything below here, indeed, yeah, it's difficult to tell. It could retrace lower and then still find it upside. Obviously, we're in an uptrend. If you look at the price versus the moving averages, there's no doubt about that. It's just a question of from when and where we could maybe continue up. Unless, of course, price were indeed to give us something of a massive fall here, then move up very weakly like this, well, then obviously we're in a downtrend, right? Something like that. Then, of course, the dynamics change. On the lower time frame, it's difficult to say really. Yeah, I wouldn't say there's very clear information here, because this was a very big spike up. Was this a spike up from a downside, or is this in fact upside, down, and up? Both are in fact possible, so it's difficult to say. I would say if you put the fibs on, then probably, let's say around 167, 166.80, 166.70, that could be a support area. It's minus 618 and 618 confluence. Oh wow, that fell a lot indeed. So let's see. I would have one of these few minutes, a few of these candles probably, at least two. Otherwise, this could still be retraced for more downside. Let's see. We can keep an eye on the 1 minute chart. Um, Odd cat. Let me take a look. There it is. Let's see. Well, this upside could still be retracing this downside. We don't know. We did have engulfing weekly candles here. We're using the moving averages maybe as resistance now. We also have broken bottoms here that could act resistance. So it could be a resistance spot. But we would need confirmation of that because that would be too early to tell, because you can look at the daily chart and you can see prices using the band as a support. So we would need to break below that. We need to break out trade basically below that band for really the confirmation of that downside that we might see after weekly. I mean, we do have weekly engulfing twins, so could be a good reason for it to move down, but the confirmation will be below here. For our chart, we would really need to break below this, right? That's what we were looking for, really. Break below this trend line. Otherwise, if we break again above this, maybe we're heading up. So two trend lines we can keep an eye on. The indicators are this awesome oscillator. Awesome oscillator, you can find that by going to Insert Indicators, Bill Williams, and I have the fractals and awesome oscillator on it. And otherwise, I use moving averages, 34 EMA close, high and low. So 34 EMA close, high and low, all 34 EMA closes. No, all 34 EMAs, but close, high and low, sorry. And then the 144 EMA close. And then, of course, manually draw trend lines and fibs. And in that regard, I don't use auto chartist indeed. What is it? What is it, Gary? I've heard of something like that, but I'm not sure what it is, to be honest. We never looked into that. Sounds interesting, but so that was the odd cat that we were looking at. Björn was asking about that. So interesting spot. I don't know exactly what you were looking at, Björn, if that matches what you were looking for, but could be a good bounce or break spot. It tracks and, okay, auto chartist is offered by Admiral Markets, and it tracks and rates breakouts across Forex and stocks. Very interesting. Where can we find that, Gary? Maybe on the website, I guess, right? Or is it part of the MT4? Oh, anyhow, I'll go back here. It's under Advanced Tools. Advanced Tools. Where do I find these advanced tools then? Let's see. Under the Platform and Software tab. Okay. Probably very. I'm not too good in technology, so maybe I can't find it. Platform. I don't know where platform is. Platform and Software tab. Sorry about that, Gary. You're doing your best to explain it to me, but I have still no idea where I could find it, in fact. But otherwise, I'll look after you. That's okay. I don't want to bother you with this. But it's somewhere in MT4, right? Gary thinks that the performance statistics of the chart patterns would be very interesting. Oh, definitely, for sure. Is it somewhere in MT4? Oh, on the website. Great. So go to admiralmarkets.com, click on Platform Software, and then we have to go to tab Platforms. Advanced Tools there. So here you can read about it. Thanks for that, Gary. You can take a look at that. Some patterns are claimed to have a 70% success rate. That's high. Interesting. Huh. Well, definitely worth the time to take a look at that. So how do you, let's see, download custom auto chart indicator for MetaTrader 4? Indeed. Huh, interesting. Great tip there from Gary. So take a look at that. Also, if you want to sign up for any webinars, go to Education and then go to Webinars, and then you can sign up by clicking on the blue button for more webinars. Okay, so for example, tonight maybe, or otherwise maybe next week again with a recap from Tarantula on Monday and our trading rooms, etc. Gary is saying that you need to use the indicator with the outer chartist website to get the most out of it. Okay, understand. Cool. Some good info there from Gary. Thank you so much. You can take a look at that. It's the 1 minute chart. Looks like it is bouncing off this 74 level. Okay, I understand. Gel, uh, Geraldine. Very nice. Or Jerry in short. Okay. Ah, Jerry, I understand. Gotcha. Thanks so much, Jerry, for that. Definitely worth the time to take a look at that. Especially if you're looking at 15 currencies, it could be useful. Depending, of course, on the schedule that everyone has. For sure. Looks interesting. So we can talk about it again on Tuesday, see and look at it together. Now we have maybe a bit too little time. I'll investigate it later on. And we're looking now at the dollar yen, but that just going sideways for half an hour. I mean, this is literally half an hour within 3 pips. Never seen it that quiet. This is really funny. 30-minute sideways move within 4 pips. This is a 4 pip range on the 1 minute chart. Well, I guess if it breaks above this 1 minute fractal, if it breaks above 93.77, it's probably will be breaking to the upside. But I don't know, I'm not too enthusiastic somehow on trading anything at the moment. AUD/USD is getting some upside. Euro pound didn't get any follow through, in fact, to the downside here. In fact, moved up a bit. How about that euro? Euro is just bouncing around. Pound is also going nowhere. So it's just basically it's just quiet. That's very simply put. Nothing really to do. Just prepare for after maybe the event, because otherwise, except the euro yen is the only thing that actually moved up. We're talking about the possibility of this to go up, and indeed broke above it. If it were not for the euro interest rate, then I think that it would already be safe to buy on dips here for that upside, almost. I mean, the 1 hour is maybe still just a bit too bearish for that. I mean, the next break would be make it a confirmed uptrend, let me say it this way. So still maybe early. Well, that wraps it up, I guess, because I don't really see anything that I would like to trade. The Euro New Zealand, Euro odd, or Euro New Zealand and Pound New Zealand are right at the bottom. So the pound, no, Euro New Zealand is at the bottom. Pound New Zealand could still be good trade to the downside break here, but under normal circumstances, dollar yen break to the upside would be good. If it does, of course, it isn't almost, because this is the 4th attempt, still not breaking. Kiwi, I would be careful. It didn't get the bounce here, still correcting to lower, still not breaking here. And other than that, so basically, if it were a normal day, I would be looking for pound break upside, euro break downside. or bounce from higher dollar yen break to the upside, maybe Kiwi bounce to the upside, pound New Zealand downside, and that's about it. Maybe Euro Yen upside eventually, but I would like to see dollar yen break first to the upside. Otherwise, the Euro Yen might not follow. So, yeah, that wraps it up, I guess. Other than that, be careful because you can see how slow things are now. So it probably won't get that much faster the closer we get to the interest rate. I know it's still a few hours from now, but especially I would say 1 hour until the interest rate, things could get very quiet. 1.5 hours, maybe even 2. If not immediately, because you can see not much is happening anyhow. So in any case, I hope to see you then tonight, where we're going to take a look at the educational webinar of trading confluences. So looking forward to that. I'm not sure if anyone still has a question maybe before we wrap it up for today. We can take a look at that. Regarding the educational webinar, I think we have this week we have trading confluence, but next week we have moving average trading. So looking forward to that as well. Then we have Fibonacci for beginners. And then on Tuesday we have moving averages. Sorry, moving averages is later. We have how to plan your trades. Excuse me, on Thursday. So trading confluence, how to plan your trades, moving averages, and then Fibonacci for beginners. Regarding our live trading, we have price action next week, intraday, and moving average trading. And the week after, we have intraday trading, trend line trading. It's supposed to be trend line, I think, not trend live, but and ranging markets. Week after, we have moving averages, intraday, and supply and demand. A copy of the session? Yeah, certainly. I think that all the videos can be found actually on the YouTube, Admiral Market YouTube channel. I've never actually looked for it, so let me. Yeah, there is a video archive, but I don't think these live trading sessions are posted there. Here, live market analysis and trading. But I'm not sure. It doesn't seem like it's being updated. This is 7th of August. Yeah, that doesn't look really that current anymore. Doesn't look like it's been really updated. I don't think the video archive has it because the video archive only shows the educational webinars. So I don't have the recording myself. The only way to do that would be to send an email maybe to customer support. I can ask I don't know if anyone is around here. Let me check if someone from Admiral Markets is here. Well, if no one answers, I could ask after the webinar, but then I'll have to get back to you tonight. Will you be there in the educational webinar, Benito, tonight? If so, I can give you the answer then. Okay? Or otherwise Tuesday. But at the moment, I mean, if it's a big urgent, I mean, I don't think that's urgent, but if you would like to watch it before tonight, then the best would be to write an email to just support. If you don't mind waiting tonight, I can ask for you today, okay? Let's see. Otherwise, no. Thank you, Graham. Very glad to hear that. Very happy to hear that, and good to hear that these sessions are helping. So we're going to wrap it up then, I guess, today. And I hope to see you all tonight. Be careful, and wish you all great trading. Cheers.
The organizer